Well, hello everybody. Interesting, Dr. Fauci, 81 years old, he announced his resignation in the United States. There was time with President Joe Biden, who thanked him greatly. And there's also a good portion on his dealings with Antivax. Antivax going all the way back to the AIDS epidemic. And I watched a lot of footage. I guess they'll be doing a special later this year on Dr. Fauci's works over his career. He served 7 presidents all the way back to Ronald Reagan. I knew a lot of that, and I've seen people take clips, especially in the anti-vax movement. And it's always bothered me, to be honest, about narratives of anti-vax stating that AIDS isn't real, that it's fake. We can go on and on through many diseases. There are more than 215 known viruses on the earth today. Dr. Fauci took on the AIDS epidemic in the 80s through to the 90s, and the monumental amount of research and work they did on that. I believe AIDS is real. Anyone shaking that science off and saying it's fake, well, you're a criminal, because those who spread AIDS knowingly and deny, and there are lots of people, believe it or not, who died of AIDS in denial. One boxer I can think of, actually, a famous boxer that I liked a lot, Left Hook Master, and he was an AIDS denier. He had AIDS. He wouldn't believe it, and in fact, he got in with an anti-vax girlfriend who convinced him AIDS isn't real. He died horrifically, mere shadow of his former self, body riddled with infection. He was gaunt, just disgusting, not even recognizable in the end, and he died from heavyweight champ to what I could consider what looked like a skinny boneyard crackhead. That's the best I can say it. And that was, of course, Tom the Bomb, and it's too bad that happened to him. But people, I don't know, you start looking at some of these narratives, and I look at some of those videos of anti-vax. Now, I don't believe in lockdowns and COVID-19 narratives going forward, but I'll tell you, the science proves it was an epidemic, and people did die, and there was a portion of time where our immune system's brand new to the disease. A good portion of society didn't respond well to COVID-19. Whether people like that or not, those are the true numbers. And people did die. Was it a mass amount? Arguably no. I wouldn't say it's been worse than many other plagues have hit our society. Going back, Black Death, even smallpox was a serious deal. I look at the Spanish flu and what had happened in 1918, and somewhat similar to COVID-19, and in fact became endemic as well too. And that's the reality of COVID-19 today. Now, arguably before December 26th, 2021, they had an argument for a pandemic of sorts. I still don't know the severity that I would classify it as, but they did. And since that time, it's clearly no longer a pandemic, but officially endemic. Were vaccines justified? Maybe, sure. Do people want to take them now? I guess it's personal choice. I don't see how there should be mandates. But when we look at AIDS and the anti-vax movement on the AIDS pandemic and vaccinations for that and everything else, I'm sorry, but that's a whole pile of lunatics. And if you're a denier of things like AIDS and other diseases, even this monkeypox, and you think it's okay to, share bodily fluids with as many people as you wish, and that the government's making up the AIDS pandemic, or things like monkeypox and many other things like herpes, and we can go on and on. Like I said, there's literally hundreds of viruses, more than 200 anyway, known and they all have ranging effects. Some stay with you the rest of your life, meaning you will transmit that to every partner you have in life when you share bodily fluids and or blood. And I guess having children, that's all things to consider. AIDS is no joke, and I don't think that that narrative, I think if you're out there denying it and you're infected and you're spreading it maliciously throughout the population, you should be in prison for that. And I don't see that as a good thing. And I think people need to really look at the anti-vax movement as Dr. Fauci's resignation today and his works, and then they start going back through this. You can see how many times that man's been targeted by anti-vax from a time when he had no gray hair and much younger all the way till to now. And people take narratives and things he said and try to twist them, especially the anti-vax. And I gotta shake my head. Influenza is not COVID. It's certainly not AIDS. Every single virus family, like animal species, no different. They all have different attributes, and I believe just like the animal kingdom, viruses are the same way, and they have different effects on our immune system. That's real science, and if people want to deny that stuff, I don't know what to tell you. I just know that if you're out there infecting people with AIDS because you don't believe it's real, you know, you're a criminal. That's murder in my eyes, and I don't think it's right that people should be out there dishing out viruses they're knowingly infected with and pretending they're not real or that it's some conspiracy. I think that you deserve criminal prosecution, and that's what I have to say about that. Now, influenza, COVID-19, dissimilar diseases, but COVID-19, people were afraid. They didn't know how to respond to it. I think now, in the last 2 years and entering into endemic, we know enough now. There'll still be things to learn, sure, but as it stands, COVID-19 is endemic, folks. It's much the same as influenza. And no, there is no vaccination known cure for influenza, never has been. And there's no known cure for COVID-19 going forward with vaccines at this time. Can they boost your immune system for those compromised or those susceptible through possibly getting organ transplants and many other things? Sure, absolutely. Cancer, yes, absolutely. It probably is a good idea to get booster shots. Look at the vaccination program. Is it going to make you immune? We all know it doesn't. Does it give you a better fighting chance for your immune system? Possibly, maybe, yes. For general population and good health? Possibly, no. They don't really know, but I know I got COVID. I got through it in the 3 days, but things like AIDS, herpes, the list goes on and on. Even this monkeypox can go into so many other viruses, a whole pile no one's even heard of. And while their infection rates are low, some of them are very dangerous in this world today, and we're lucky we don't have them out west, and we're lucky there have been vaccines in the past that have basically limited some pretty serious plagues that hit our populations. And I guarantee you, I don't care what people say in regards to anti-vax. I promise you, if it was your family and your children are dying, let's say you have a family of 5 and you watch 3 children die of a disease, you'll be getting the shot. So would you have all your children done? At least normal parents and children. If you ever want to know a good, reasonable story that's within our lifetime, I would go look at Balto and the story of Balto Disney, where that dog ran for Nome, Alaska to get the vaccine that they desperately needed, or they would have lost a pile of children. I guarantee you, if you're one of those children, you know there's a serum to save your child, you'll take it, you'll give it to your kid. You watch 1 or 2 of your children die horrifically through disease, you'll be taking a shot too. You'd be willing to try anything, and most people are like that when they're on death's doorstep. Now, I'm not talking about COVID-19, I'm saying diseases of that nature, and we're talking about these real hardcore anti-vaxxers, and they're there. I watched a guy right here in Edmonton, Alberta, live on a microphone. I saw the recording. AIDS is fake, he says. It's all a lie, a conspiracy. And folks, again, some of these major serious diseases, you're out there sharing your bodily fluids all over the place because you don't care about yourself, and you're going to be one of those deniers, and you're out there infecting people with life-altering diseases. That's worse than assault. That's on the verge of a critical assault, if not murder, you know. And I know I personally wouldn't want to be on those AIDS meds and having to worry about that and tell people that. I definitely wouldn't want that kind of life, and who knows if that's going to work in the long term. But that's my video today, and it's pretty interesting look back videos. I didn't realize Fauci had taken so much of the anti-vax movement throughout his career, that he's fully used to it. And watching all those old AIDS reels, it's like, holy smokes, something I don't support, definitely. And I don't support that anti-vax movement. I never have. There's something wrong there, and it's a mental issue, I think. I don't know how somebody could sit there. There's even a story of the parents who let their child die horrifically. Literally, he was in such pain. His body was so rigid when they got to him. Of course, he died. How you could let your child get so ill is beyond me. That's wow. You know, that's almost criminal form of child abuse, because your beliefs are so strong that you'd let your child go through that and die horrifically. Makes you shake your head. Lots of stories like that, real sick stuff, and I don't subscribe to any of that. That's my video. Thanks, everybody. Share if you like. It's more just a video about these current events and what I was watching with Dr. Fauci. Interesting stuff. Should be interesting to see what comes out in his documentary and his works going forward for the remainder of this year. I know.